Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman. I'm behind the wheel of a Tesla Model S. I figured I would take you on a little spin, and there's a million reviews of this car on the web, so I'm not going to get into too much of the details of the ins and the outs, but I am going to show you what it's like to drive the car through this pair of Google Glasses while I still have them. So let's go take a drive. Well, the first thing you notice is this beautiful dashboard, and this thing can do quite a bit. I'm not going to go through everything, but you can pretty much have all the things that you want to see right front and center, and it also gives you an idea of your energy usage as well. I'm going to show you that on the bigger screen, and that is this big 17-inch screen. It's a wide screen that they turn vertical, so you have a huge amount of space to work with here. And right off the bat, of course, you have your navigation system, and it works a lot like a tablet does. You just kind of drag it with your fingers just like you would on an iPad. It's not quite iPad smooth, but it's certainly close enough to that. Your navigation actually works a little different, and I'll show you how that works in a second. You do have some other stuff though. You have your media, and you can connect your Bluetooth and everything else, but one thing it has that's really unique is a 3G connection. This is free. They give you unlimited internet in this car. Unlimited, really unlimited internet. It's only 3G, it's not LTE, but it gives you enough that you can play internet radio through here. There's a lot of streaming music stations. You have, in addition to that, the regular radio, the satellite radio. You also have, in addition to the streaming radio stations, you get Slacker radio as well. So you have plenty of entertainment options while you're driving the car. One thing about this screen is that it doesn't turn off when you're driving. So you really need to pay attention when you're driving this car because it has a lot to distract you. And that's the one thing, I guess you just have to be responsible, but it can definitely beckon you during your drive. One thing to note up here is that you can actually set your settings so that when you get in the car, you can hit your name and it'll put everything, all the settings, back where you want them to go. Here is our battery indicator. I'll show you a little bit how that power thing works when we get moving. And we can go over to energy here. And you get a sense of what your energy usage is like. By the way, you can also flip the position of the screens here too. You can just do that, or we could move energy down into the lower section of the screen if we wanted to. But basically this tells you how much energy you're consuming while you're driving. I will not talk about what happened here, but you can see how you're doing overall. And basically, and I'll show you when we're driving, when you take your foot off the gas, it very aggressively regenerates power from your forward momentum back into the battery. So every time it goes below the 0 mark here, we're actually putting more energy back in the car than we're using. Typically that won't, you obviously won't go below 0 often as on the average, but what it also does is it tells you that it gives you a projected range based on the current energy consumption. So there's also a rated range, which takes a whole bunch of factors into consideration, and I'll talk about that. And actually the mileage, the range we get in the car today right now is about 255 miles given how much charge we have at the moment. You have a web browser, and it is a full web browser. It works very well, and like I said, just don't operate it while you're driving, even though you can. You can hit the camera icon here and you get the rear camera. You can put this up all the time, not just when the car is in reverse, so that's pretty helpful. And then of course you have your phone controls there too. So lots to see and do. Below that, down here, you have some controls. So we can hit this and we get everything. We could tighten up the suspension. We can set the steering mode into sport mode and get something a little bit more stiff. You can also go into comfort mode and make it feel like a Buick or something. Traction control on and off. The creep when you let go of the brake, you can set that. You can also set how aggressive you want the regenerative braking to be. You can set all your door locks, open up the charge port here, and of course you have all of your headlights and other things as well. Sunroof control is here as well, so it's a little hard to get the sunroof open. There isn't a switch up top to do it. You got to do it from this thing here. So lots of things to look at. One last thing before we get underway is the charging indicator here. Now right now we are not charged. In fact, we're in my driveway, but you can see that we have 255 rated miles, meaning that given how it's been seeing me drive over the last day, this is how much range we should expect to get. If I start really beating on the car, that's going to go down. So you need to make sure that you know exactly, keep an eye on this number to make sure you're not going to run out of gas. There's supercharging stations popping up all over the place. There's one about 30 minutes from where I am, and believe it or not, it can charge this entire car like up to this 255 mark from pretty much nothing in about 20 to 30 minutes. And I saw it happen. I would not say this, that it actually works unless I saw it with my own eyes, but it's the real deal. It's incredible. So you can set charge limits here also. So I put a little bit extra in here because I'll be driving around quite a bit. This car holds a lot of energy, and I don't have a 240 volt charger in my house, just a 110 outlet. So I put a little bit extra in here. They recommend that you leave a little bit of extra basically extra battery that you're not using, just to maintain the life of the battery longer. But since I'll be driving around and don't have a ability to really put a lot of charge back into this car quickly, we're going to keep it, we put a little bit extra in. Now what's interesting is that when you're charging on 110, you only get 3 miles of range put into the car per hour. So it takes a long time to charge this car, as it does all electric cars, off of the wall. So you'll want to have a 240 outlet plugged in. You can also set settings for this location. Everything is GPS based, so while it's here, I could have it set, maybe if my house can't handle, if I had the big charger, let's say it could only handle 30 amps, I could set it to 30 and the car knows just to do 30. It has the home link thing too, so when you're using your garage doors, it'll know which garage door to pop up on here when you pull in. Again, that's GPS based as well. So I'm going to take a little break here, and we're going to hit the road, and I'll show you how the car works.
Onto I-95 towards New Haven.
All right, we are going to get on the highway here, and this is not my car, so we're not going to be too obnoxious in this thing. The car is giving us some navigation, as you can see that in the heads-up display. I'm just going to look to our blind spot here. And one thing this car has is a reservoir of power, and you can see how fast we get up to speed on this thing. It just takes off, and it is unbelievable. Now, this is the Performance Edition, so it has a little bit more power than your run-of-the-mill Tesla has, but nevertheless, they're all really fast and have a real large amount of torque on them. So as we're driving here, I don't know if you can see, I'm not going to be able to look too easily while I'm driving here, but the speedometer has a lot of interesting indicators. We have a speed indicator in the center, of course, our miles per hour, and that's also reflected in the blue bar on the left side of the display. On the right side, it's showing us our energy usage, and if I take my foot off the gas here, you can see this immediately drops down to 60 kilowatts. And what that is that it is pumping all of that electricity back into the engine, so or into the battery, I should say, that powers the engine. So you get a little bit back as you drive, and that rated range that I showed you earlier is determined based on all of those factors. It's looking at how, looking at your drive patterns, looking at how often your foot is off the gas. And when you're maintaining speed, if we're going 65, we're not using all that much electricity to maintain this speed. And sometimes, like we're doing right now, we're going downhill. So when we go downhill, we can stay at 65, but put some more juice back into the battery. So that's pretty much how it operates when you're driving. When you have navigation up the left side of the display, will give you the map, so you don't have to look over at the big screen. And I kind of like that, because that screen distracts me, and I just don't want to start pushing things on it. So to have the map down there real almost heads up gives you a better sense of what you're looking at. So that is how it drives, and it feels great. I mean, this is a real car, and it's amazing for really the second car out of their factory, not the second physical car, but the second design car out of their factory. It is really refined. I mean, this is up there with every luxury car I've ever driven. It's fast, it is smooth, it handles amazingly. It really lives up to all the hype. A couple other neat things is when you approach the car, the handles come out, which is kind of neat. You have a key, it looks like a little Tesla actually, and when you push the top of the key, it'll lock the doors again, which is kind of neat. So, hit it too many times there. And there you go, that's pretty neat. So the trunk, by the way, you open the trunk just by pushing on the trunk there. So this is the charger, and it's kind of a neat thing because you have a lot of different options for plugging it in. And I guess I should say the charger is in the car. This is what you use to plug into the charger. But it allows you to really adapt to a number of different things. So right off the bat, it gives you a 240 volt plug here. So if you have 240 service or get it, you can just plug in and get a faster charge. You pop these off and you pop on these little adapters. They have different size adapters for different 240 outlets, by the way. This one is for your wall outlet. So you just plug that in and you can just plug it into the wall. It takes forever to charge it on the wall like that, but you can do it if you so choose. And the last little adapter is this one. And this one actually is designed to interface the Tesla's unique charging plug with the standard interface that is out there for just about every other electric car in the market. So You plug the public charging station cable into this, and then you plug this end into the charge port, which is on the side of the car. And usually all you need to do is hit the button here, although we don't have the charging unit plugged in at the moment, but you hit the button here, the charge port opens, and you can plug in the car. That'll do it for this review of the Tesla Model S, but I do want to answer your questions. I have access to this car on a regular basis. It's not mine, unfortunately, but I can get at it. So leave some questions, and maybe we'll take like 3 or 4 of them and do a follow-up video answering those questions. This is Lon Seidman. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will be back again with some more tech to review.